game went along?
I thought it got better as the game went on. I thought we were around the quarterback right from the start. We were hitting him, and we did a good job harassing him. We didn't get him to the ground, and he did a good job hanging in there and completing some balls. But I did think we were around him throughout. Thank you. And then towards the end of the ball game, we were able to get him and make some of those minus plays that you need to have.
You have to see the tape, but feel like Quinn's return had an impact. And
it was great to see Robert out there. He's worked so hard for us since we've gotten him, and he's really embraced, what we're trying to do with our football team, and just to have him back out there and playing at a high level. He was around the quarterback. I thought his get off was really good. They were giving him a lot of attention. They were chipping with the back. They were trying to give some tight end presence on him. So he did a good job fighting through that. When he got some one-on-one looks, he was around the quarterback and made some plays.
Was this not quite as good a decision-making game for Dak? Obviously, he played at an extremely high level the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think there are probably a couple decisions that we'll watch the tape and he'll want to have back. The interception, obviously he was trying to make a play, and we as a coaching staff have to be careful. You say, go make all those plays when you scramble around and throw it to Witten. We like that one, but we don't like the other one. You don't want to put cuffs on a player like that. But at the same time, he has to learn from that situation, being in that particular situation on that play, learn from it and grow and make the right decision and not turn the ball over. He's done such a good job throughout his career being able to make plays and not make bad plays. True. And that's the standard we want to hold him to.
Any adjustments coming into the third quarter, just better execution overall?
Just settle back in and play the way we play. And again, you mentioned the penalties. I thought the penalties hurt us in all three phases of our team, and we got to make sure we avoid those, because that allows us to play with better rhythm offensively and keeps us in more favorable situations on defense. So it was about settling in and executing and doing what we do.
Does it make it hard against a team outscored as much as the Dolphins were the first two games to go into a game against a team like that?
Not really. Our biggest focus is on us and what we need to do to get better every week, and that's how we practice and that's how we strive to play. And we're always just trying to get better week by week. The teams that are playing at the end of the year are the ones that improve over the course of the season. So we have great respect for their players, great respect for their coaches. You look at their game last week, it was close all the way to the end of the first half. So we knew it was going to be a challenge for us, and we just had to keep playing. We had to keep playing through the success of the game, the adversity of the game. We knew it was going to be 60 minutes. I thought we played better and better as the game wore on.
What do you feel Smith did stepping in with Gallup going out, who had been such a positive for you in the first half?
Yeah, Devin has really done a good job with the opportunities we've given him. Obviously made some big plays last week, and he's comfortable, he's confident, he knows what we're asking him to do, and when he gets chances, he seems to cash in on them.
Thank you.
All right, good to see you guys.
Good to see you guys. Jason Garrett, coach of the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys win 31-6. Jason Garrett is 3-0 for the first time in his career as the coach of the Cowboys. Cowboys are 3-0 for the first time since 2008. They're 3-0. And the Dallas Cowboys postgame show will continue. You're listening to the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
You work hard, and when you come home, you want to enjoy your family moment.
Appreciate you all. Thank you all for tuning in to the nation. Oh, my goodness. The Saints just gashed the Seahawks for a big run. It's Harris kid. He's been pretty nice out there for them. So they're 1-1, so they got something to play for. But, we'll see them, I think, next week, right? We play against the Saints next week. So we still got to continue to do our job and continue. We started off fast, and then I don't want nobody to compare this team to the 2018. Those 3 games for the 2018, those first 3 games was nothing similar to this game or this season. So, but we are looking sharp. We are looking good as relates to the resilient factor that we have, and then on top of that, our division. We on top. Everybody else is breaking their necks, looking up. So, I gotta say that, just to bring everybody home, because there's going to be the narrative now that we're not playing anyone. And even next week, there's still going to be a narrative that we're still not playing anyone if we so happen to win respectably, So there's always going to be that narrative. There's always that feeling that this team can't do this. We can't overcome our shortcomings. We can't overcome our pitfalls. But all I'm looking at is Dak Prescott. Yeah, it was a janky start for Dak, but Just like Coach Red just said, we can't praise him on one hand and then get mad at him on the other. We got to look at the total game. And we can't judge the Cowboys based off of, 30 minutes opposed to 60 minutes. There's a reason why they play 60 minutes instead of only playing 1 quarter or 2 quarters, what have you. So I'm looking at this team. Able to move the ball down the field when it's needed. And when they play their style of football, run the rock, I like the fact when we run the rock, I like it when we play Dak Prescott under center. I think that it gives the opposition thinking that, man, they finna actually run this rock again. I like being that type of manipulation. Do we got some things to work on? Sure. We got to work on some things. From the Netherlands, man, really appreciate you. DJ Cobb, GOAT, appreciate you for tuning in. Elite Rob, man, yeah. Remember, before going into the halftime, I said, look, we want to see a different team, and we saw that different team come in. So, yeah, that's what we want. Hey, Law, some of our fans are emotional, and it's so annoying. I think emotions are good, though. That what makes us fans. And we'll be foolish not to be emotional. By us being so large, in a sense, we got a lot of people that don't watch a lot of football, a lot of people that don't understand football, and all they do is just turn on the TV, and they think that what they're supposed to be able to see is what you see out there that's going on in Boston land, right? And that's an anomaly. Not all teams like the Boston team, and not all teams are like the Celtics when they was coming up with all those rings the Celtics got, or the Lakers with all of those rings. I think that our fan base is they make us upset at times, but we love them. It just seems like when you see another Cowboy fan out there, you love them. You either go Cowboy, you see that silver and blue. It's like being part of a fraternity. It's like being part of a brotherhood, or a sisterhood for the ladies out there. And I don't think that any other fan base got that type of privilege, because we know what kind of trash Eagles fans are. You see, we see what kind of fan base the Browns are. I love our fan base. I love the fact that the media can't get our names out of their mouths. I love the fact that they poke fun at our fan base, because at the same time, they put in our fan base out there. They talking about our fan base, but every fan base does the same thing. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Let's see if they're back live, and we'll see. Hopefully they can get somebody in for an interview or something like that.
They did, and it worked out well for them. They were able to get enough production early. They were able to get a sizable lead to start the second half. Once they got rolling downhill in the second half, it was over.
Yes,
this rushing attack is devastating to teams in the second half. This is old Marion Barber coming in the second half in 2007. You wear them down early, and then Barber just punishes them late. The defense of the other teams is going to get worn down because the Cowboys have figured out that they can control time of possession by throwing and running. And then when you get to the second half, and all of a sudden, here comes a fresh Zeke who's maybe had, 9 carries in the first 2 quarters, maybe.
Plus a heavy dose of Tony Pollard in the third quarter, so an even more fresh in the fourth quarter.
So now you got Pollard basically doing most of the damage in the early third, and then you come Zeke back for the fourth quarter, and he's got 35% of his normal workload. It's over.
It's over.
It's over. Once this team gets a lead, for the most part, because the way Dak has been able to throw, and that you have confidence in him on a 3rd and 7 in the fourth quarter with 4 minutes to go, instead of just running into a brick wall, having him throw it, picking up that first down.
It's funny. You look at the box score for the Cowboys in their first 3 games, and you'll see balance. Something that we were like, that's not how you can score efficiently in modern NFL. You don't want balance. And this balance, as opposed to last year's 50-50 run-pass balance, is just completely different. It's last year, and in recent history, the Cowboys used the run to open up the pass. Yeah. They're doing the exact opposite this year, which is it's about running in efficient situations, running when
at the right time.
At the right time. When you look at the box and it's soft, so you see good numbers in terms of matchups you can win up front and run the football effectively and not running in 9-10 boxes.
They did a play action on the first play of the game.
Yeah, that was a good
They were in play action the first play of the game.
We never saw that.
I thought you had to establish the run before you can get the play action to work.
So you mean they hadn't established the run by the first play from scrimmage?
No, they had not established the run by the first play from scrimmage. It's physically impossible to do that.
But look, that play action on the first play was everything, because this is why I love it, because we always start off with the run, and that's just the brilliancy of the coaching staff. Just start off the game with a play action, because everybody and their mama, uncle, cousin knew that we was going to run, and we were a run first team. So I like that element of surprise. We just didn't keep that energy all throughout the game. We had some crazy drops. And I'm hearing the Eagles fans out there saying, "Oh, our receivers dropping the ball." You got to overcome drops, because we had them. We overcame, right? Oh, yeah.
AT&T, more for your thing, that's our thing. 877-881-1053 is the number. If you'd like to join the postgame show, you can either call or text that number, 877-881-1053. Ari Tepkin and RJ Choppy with you. Zeke Elliott, 19 carries for 125. Tony Pollard, 13 carries for 103. Also had a touchdown. Dak added 2 carries for 7 yards and a touchdown. So overall, 34 carries as a team, 235 yards, an average of 7 per carry, and 2 touchdowns. Efficient running, third down in short situations, whereas in years past, that's goal line package, jumbo. It's inviting other players up to the line of scrimmage, 10, 11 players to the line of scrimmage. Now they're running out of more passing sets, more spread sets, so you've got more softer boxes on third and shorts. These are the types of things that you were looking for, so it's not a coincidence. The Cowboys, who struggled to score 30 points last year in a game, have put up 30 points at least to start the season, 97 total points by this Cowboys team. Not to mention, the Miami Dolphins have now been outscored. What was it? It was
110 to
or 102 to
102 to 10.
So now 133 to 16 in 3 games.
Oh, cool!
Somebody get
16 points in 3 football games.
Wow. That's not. Their average went up. All right, with this one today. Good news for Miami. They finally have more rushing yards than Dak Prescott does on the year. So for
what's the count?
Well, they had 63 going into today, and they added 72 to it.
Dak had 69. He only added 70 or 7. Sorry, So
he's at 76 now. It's good news for Miami on that one. Congratulations, guys.
Defensively,
give me the stats.
What were your impressions, RJ? They could not get pressure in the first half.
Yeah.
No, they didn't. Now, obviously, Miami does this every game where they second half they fall apart on themselves. But,
I hate to be here to Miami halftime speeches.
Miami was averaging 192 yards a game. They had that in the first half. Today. And, their total yards for the day.
We got to clear that up, Jay.
Almost
we do got to clear that up.
110 something
penalties. Yeah.
So, you're allowing 100 more yards than the team's averaging gaining. Jalen Smith, Tank Lawrence,
that's funny.
They're the guys who are going to get the brunt of the criticism, if there is any, about this, because they were the ones that were paid this offseason. But let's not forget, they also didn't have Xavier Woods today. So we don't know what that really did to it.
Antoine Woods was missing. Then they lost Christian Covington, who was starting in place of him.
Yeah, Tyrone, obviously, all that stuff. So, this was not a full-strength defense. The defense is not a bad defense. It's not what it was last year.
It's not what we expected.
I actually, believe it or not, Cowboy Nation, and this is not me throwing anything at Tyron Crawford. I kind of like the fact that we had the other guys out there. I like seeing Joe Jackson do his thing, and I thought I saw Christian Covington get back out there again. So, let me know in the comment box how you guys feel about that. Not saying that you want the guy to be injured all the time, Tyron Crawford.
Like that, yeah.
You guys feel?
Giving up 280 yards to any NFL team is not bad in a game.
No, it's not.
It's worse when this team's only had 192 in the first 2 games averaged.
Right.
But still, 280, that's a reasonable.
Oh, it's great. Yeah.
But they only gave up 6 points as a defense. They finally got home to the quarterback in the second half. They could not get pressure on the first half. And the other thing is penalties. The Cowboys just killed themselves in this game with penalties. Otherwise, it would have been way more of a blowout than the 25 points that they beat them by.
Yeah, they're allowing under 15 points a game.
Yeah. 8 penalties, though, for 100 yards in this game, Chop, and it took big plays. It was third downs that they were getting off the field. They were penalized on. It was a 74-yard touchdown by Randall Cobb that's taken back.
And we both have him on our fantasy team,
and
we were both upset about that.
Disaster.
Yeah, it was tough from that regard. But, again, this offense put up almost 500 yards offense.
Right.
476. Right. We're freaking out about the offense today.
Mm-hmm. Right.
All right, because the offense was sharp. they had 476 yards offense. they had, almost 30 first downs.
It's good.
They're okay.
Right. Right. Last year, if they scored 30, it seemed like a coincidence. Like, how'd that happen?
Yeah.
This year, they have a bad game and they score 30.
Right.
It's
It's the new normal.
877-881-1053. We're waiting for Dak Prescott to take the podium.
That's
Again,
what I
Dak
wanna
Prescott
hear.
this game, certainly not. This is probably his worst of the first two games. And I think one of the things we knew going into the season, or at least once we saw that Kellen Moore had this potential, we thought that this could be an offense, that would at times need to rely on their running game. And that it wasn't going to be Dak Prescott every game that was going to save them, that they were going to at some point rely on the running game. We certainly thought that this would be one of them, given where Miami's defense is, and certainly their rush defense, and that's exactly right. I mean, the Cowboys won this game salting it away on the ground.
But I'm not going to freak out about Dak's game today.
No, you
I'm
shouldn't.
just not.
No.
This was the first time he has faced what is a form of a Bill Belichick defense. Brian Flores is the old coordinator up there. It's the first time he's faced that. I'm not going to freak out about that. There's far greater quarterbacks in the history of this league have looked way worse against a quote-unquote Belichick defense.
True.
And it's not surprising it took him a half to figure it out.
Well, and what's interesting is I thought he had a pass to Jason Witten on third and long.
Was this the one rolling out down the sideline?
Third and 20.
Touch pass?
Third and 20, and he ran up to like he was going to run. He sucked the linebacker who was covering Witten in, and then just dropped the pass perfectly to Witten on a 3rd and 20. Played the defense. It was probably his most impressive play of the season. If it's not, it's close. It's up there. And then after that, he threw the pick, and he kind of looked off. And then the way they came out in the second half, they scored back-to-back touchdowns to start 2 straight drives, 2 touchdowns. It was like, okay, that's to that point. It was Dak's. It was a bad game for Dak. And then in the second half, they clearly made the adjustments. And so much of it is it's using the pass to open up the run. It's getting more favorable running situations and then running into them. And the Cowboys continually got in their own way. Turnover. And penalty.
John Deere, you funny. He said breaking news. The Dolphins just released Taco Charlton. That's funny.
Got an onside kick early in this football game. Dolphins had some bad penalties, missed field goals. So you could see why the Dolphins were a team that's 0-3. And
you could tell.
And this is as sloppy as we've seen the Cowboys in the early season.
Yeah, they make
very
0-3 look really bad.
Like historically.
There's good 0-3. Like there's like
it was two tails of the game, and the first half looked pretty sloppy for us. The second half looked great. I would say this with Connor Williams. This is just my thoughts. He's still developing, and he's still small out of that front five. He's the smallest guy out there. Now, is he technically sound? Yeah, he's a technique. He can kill you by technique. But if you really want to power him, you just power him. You just put power on him. If you look back at the last game, D-Ron Payne put power on him. And I don't care what anybody says. For to get your quarterback killed, it's only take one play, And it's the way he get killed. It's not like how he get killed. It's the way he get killed. He get killed right there into the inside. And I'm going to tell you, if it was any other smallish quarterback out there, we'd probably been having a rest in peace sign for him, you see. We just thank God that we got a quarterback that knows how to evade, that's big, that can bounce the opposition off at time. And we thank God, too, that it's on his side where he can literally see just a little bit, you see. Just thank God it's not his complete blind side, you see. But here's the thing. Connor, he's going to develop. It's just taking time. We glad that we hear no news of number 71. We don't hear any noise at all from Lyle Collins, but it's just one of those things, Cowboy Nation. It is. It is.
Zeke Elliott was, no, we're going to use these guys together because Pollard is a different skill set. And, when Zeke holds out of all training camp, so he's got no reps with Tony Pollard, outside of what they did in OTAs, which is nothing, you can see now the beginnings of that potential because they use Tony Pollard in the passing game. They use them together in dual back sets sometimes with Tony Pollard
Green
lined
Bay
up.
Packers defense
so I think
looking
that's
good.
exciting because there's a lot of potential there with Zeke and then a guy that has Tony Pollard's skill set.
there is a lot of potential. There is. Pollard may be faster, He's quick.
Yeah.
All right, very, very fast.
Right.
Not nearly as big, but very,
Quick.
very fast.
Yeah, he is quick.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of another thing that you could take away. I don't even know what you could
Okay.
take away. I mean, this was not a
19
game
for
that.
32.
It's just funny to me that it seems like the defense could have played. It's like
Well, they could have. They probably could have played better.
They gave up 6 points. All right, here is Dak Prescott
Here we go.
making his way up to the podium. No, he's not. I'm gotta have eyes in the back of my head. I thought people started running to the
All right,
podium.
before they say anything for Dak Prescott. All right, so shout out to you, Jay, and for others who put that out. He was 19 for 32, 246 yards with 2 touchdowns, 1 INT, with a rushing yard, with 8 yards rushing touchdown. Well, or rushing touchdown. Don't sneeze at those numbers. That is good numbers, actually. 3 touchdowns collectively from your quarterback and 1 INT. I'll take that any day. Yeah, I'll take that any day. And then he had 1 call back, so he could have had at least 300 yards. So if you want to follow the stats or what have you, and a win is a
You
win.
didn't have
too.
any of that.
That's good. It's a good win if you really look at Dak Prescott. And I do know what's going to happen is that, all of the national media and a few Cowboy fans that don't like Dak Prescott are going to say how he threw an interception and he only had 2 touchdowns against the Dolphins. And they're going to forget all about their rushing touchdown. And 5 months from now, everybody's going to forget about the rushing touchdown like it don't count. But I've been trying all off season and the little parts of last season to say, hey, rushing touchdown matter. That is points on the board, you see. You got to understand that that's a threat. That's now teams got to really think about, hey, that's another choice for the quarterback to score. You got to think about it, Cowboy Nation. And Pollard, yeah, he is a 4-3 guy. He's quick. Yeah, he's very quick.
The season, this offense is still finding itself. This is still very new. They're running a lot of the same plays, but it's all different window dressing and formations and pre-snap mode. Like, that's all different. So Zeke missed all. There's so many pieces that you think this offense, when it really figures out what it needs to do on a game-by-game basis, is really going to be able to take advantage of defenses, which, Chop, more than anything else, was the fatal flaw of a Jason Garrett team. They couldn't adjust within a game to take advantage of what defenses were doing to them.
Ooh,
This
19
offense
for 125
is going
yards.
to be built to be able to do that within a game.
Dude, they did it. They did it coming out of halftime.
Yeah.
They came out of halftime. They were a completely different offense. They marched right down the field.
They could not adjust. They didn't adjust.
Yep.
A fatal flaw to try for a playoff team. You can't win playoff games if you can't adjust.
And they've adjusted, and they adjusted fine. And this is a good team. It's a good football team who played a trap game against a team that I bet you they could not get up for, even if you asked them to.
But you guys know what this reminded me of as we wait for Dak Prescott. This doesn't remind me of the combination of Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram, whatever the kid that used to play for the Saints, now he plays for the Ravens. It doesn't remind me. It more so reminds me of a Priest Holmes and Jamal Lewis, that type of running back threat. You guys remember those combinations? Let me know if you guys are old enough to remember. I know it goes way back, but this remind me of the combination with Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott of being sort of like the Priest Holmes and Jamal Lewis. Now, here's the thing. We're like that combination, but we're younger. We're younger than what they were, you see, during the time that they was dominating the run game, and they had that stellar defense. Boy, they had a stellar defense. You guys let me know. I hope Saquon Barkley.
His best games last season. I mean,
His quarterback rating was still over 90. It's still over 90. Now, I don't remember him finding situations where there was too many. He was holding on the ball too long. He only got sacked once.
True.
I don't remember there being
taco sack
moments where he was hanging on and just waiting to throw.
The opposite, in fact. He got rid of the ball a couple of times before the rush came.
He knew where he wanted to go with the football from the start. He knew where he wanted to go with the ball.
Yeah, true that.
The only issue was the interception that you could argue he had too much time.
That was fine, but he was rolling out on that one, throwing across his body.
But under no pressure, right?
He should have ran that ball with his
He may have
legs,
left a clean pocket. Yeah, he may have left a clean pocket.
Abandoned the pocket,
but
but
maybe that's what the play was designed to he wanted to open up a passing lane for himself. I don't know.
All right, we're still waiting Dak Prescott to take the podium here on the Dallas Cowboys postgame show. Before we do that, though, let's hear from Zeke Elliott.
All right, let's
who earlier caught up with our own Chris Arnold.
Zeke, could you talk about how you guys started and how you finished? It seemed like it was 2 different games, even though statistically y'all dominated the Dolphins.
We started out slow. We didn't come out like we should have. We definitely didn't play well enough tonight, but we got rolling towards the middle of the game, and we took it over, and we got the win. That's all that matters.
Could you talk about how you and Tony both put up 100 yards apiece, and he got a touchdown at the end there, and you guys looked like a nice tandem out there? Is that what you guys were looking at over the summertime?
Yeah, for sure, man. I knew ever since TP got here that he had juice, that he could run, he could play ball, and he came out. He had a great game today. I'm proud of him. He went out there, he did his thing.
First time since 2008 the Cowboys started the season 3-0. Is that kind of special in this room, or is this business?
It's special, but it's business, man. It's so early in the season. Anything can happen in the last 14 weeks of the season. So we're just gonna keep our heads down. We'll keep grinding. Go watch this film, see where we can improve, which is a lot of areas, and build on that.
That's good stuff from Zeke.
There's Zeke Elliott catching up with their own Chris Arnold right here on the Dallas Cowboys postgame show. Cowboys win 31-6. It's RJ Choppy and Ari Temkin here on the Dallas Cowboys postgame show. 31-6. Again, 97 total points in 3 games scored so far. And let's go to the phones at 877-881-1053.
Phone call.
Austin is calling from Denton. Go ahead, Austin. You're on the Dallas Cowboys radio network.
Yeah, hey, I just want to say 2 things. One, I felt like the defense, I didn't see much pressure throughout the first half. Got a little bit in the second, kind of goes what I consider garbage time. 2, RJ need to work on those calves, and I'll hang up and listen.
Thanks, man. I don't even touch them anymore. I don't need to. That's stay away from that. That's how you rip up your Achilles, right? That's what happened with Kevin Durant. The pressure from the defense, that's going to be an issue. If they can't get pressure on quarterbacks,
look,
when you face Aaron Rodgers, they got Rodgers, and let's face it, they're not going to get pressure on Tom when they play him. He gets rid of the ball in like less than 2 seconds. So you don't get pressure on him. That's by design.
Good
okay,
stuff,
he's
good
not going to
stuff.
allow.
But I would say this, that this was Robert Quinn first game back, and my thing is Robert Quinn, he was showing a lot of pressure off that right side. And we saw a sack from D-Law. So what I'm looking at is that D-Law, he looked a little slower than what he was last year. And that could go from a lot of times because we didn't see him all off season. I didn't see D-Law work the chords or anything. So I think what the Cowboys went with, they're going to work D-Law into shape. And we're going to see, because trust me, if anybody knew anything of Robert Quinn or how to slow him down a little bit, were the Dolphins. And it just seems like just give him a little bit more time and let this chemistry work out a little bit more. And we should see something. I know I'm backpedaling a little bit because I said this game will be a game where you see the defense step up a little bit more. But, hey, they only allow 6 points. Hey.
Dual defensive players dominating in to some degree. You see a Khalil Mack. We knew he wasn't a Khalil Mack, right? But you want to see more domination in games where the Cowboys are unable to get past. You want to at least get one guy who's your main guy there, and it's head scratching considering here's a guy that did it consistently for 2 straight years with a torn labrum.
Right, but don't look at it this way, okay? I mean, you can take anybody out of the game on the offense and on the defense side. You can take anybody out of the game. You can take any receiver out of the game you want, any defensive player. Especially a defensive lineman. You can give all the coverage and protection to that one person.
That's true.
J.J. Watt could go through an entire season, not have any sacks, and he'd still be a valuable piece.
Because he's shading.
He's shading everything away.
Right. You're right.
I know I'm right.
Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to the Dallas Cowboys radio network.
Yes, indeed. So good deal. Like he said, he can still be valuable even though he's not out there on the field. And I agree with the guy on that. You can still be valuable even though he's not out there on the field or doing anything.
Quinn is a guy that's supposed to be taking advantage of some of those double teams that DeMarcus Lawrence is commanding, and he caught up and had his first sack in this game. His first sack. He caught up with our own Chris Arnold.
Robert Quinn, nice debut for the Dallas Cowboys. Could you talk about the sack?
Doing my job. as our D-line we call ourselves rushmen. We get to the quarterback and we dominate the run on the way to the quarterback. So just doing my job. Nothing.
How did it feel going up against the team that you had just played for last year?
Just another team on the schedule. Coming in, the team been doing well without me, so I just try to come in and do my part, help them keep winning. So, as I said, I didn't try to overhype the situation because of a former team. Like I said, I just want to win a game. And finally, it was a solid performance. Are you feeling tired at all? Are you feeling right in the middle of everything? Because you just started the season right now. No, I feel pretty good. All season I trained pretty hard. Even the time I trained pretty hard. So when I didn't make my return, I wasn't too far. So I felt pretty good all game. I don't know how many snaps I got, but I think it was over 50. So I think that's pretty good for first game back.
Congratulations, man.
No, thank you.
Good stuff.
All right, Cowboys win 31-6. Robert Quinn, first game, first sack since joining the Dallas Cowboys. And, look, there are a lot of things athletes will say it's cliched and not true. And one of them just came out of Robert Quinn's mouth after this game, which was, hey, this game against my former team, it's just another game on the schedule. And I've heard this from lots of former athletes before. That's not true. When you're going up against a team that just traded you for a 6th-round pick, there's extra motivation. In the same way, there's probably extra motivation for Taco Charlton, who did register a sack in this game.
He did. And until Tank,
it wasn't really a sack.
No.
Dak Prescott. It was an unforced error, if you will, by Dak Prescott. But Taco Charlton was awarded a sack.
He'd be second on the Cowboys in terms of sacks at this point. He'd be second on the Cowboys.
Does anybody have more than one? All right, here is Dak Prescott.
There we go.
On the Dallas Cowboys postgame show. Cowboys win 31-6. Let's go live to Dak Prescott.
Great second half.
Appreciate it.
How does it feel to have 2 running backs over 100 yards today?
Yeah, it's great. It really is. That really is great. Credit the offensive line, credit those 2 guys, credit the receivers out there blocking, the play calling, just a compliment. To have two backs both rush for 100 yards, that's great. That's complimentary to the line, like I said, and just really the whole offense of being downhill and finishing the game the right way.
What's it say about this offense now that you probably weren't as crisp overall as you were in the first 2 games, but you go over 30 points, you go over 400 yards, and when you had those penalties to take yards away, you came right back and hit some big plays.
Yeah, it should be a great tape, the great tape to learn from. That was a team that played really, really hard. And as you said, we had a lot of penalties, and we stepped on our own feet a lot of the times that derailed us or cost us to punt the ball or not necessarily get points. And when you have those things, that takes for, as I said, good tape to learn from. So it's a lot of things that we can clean up, a lot of things that we can get better at. But like you said, to finish with 30 points, to finish the way we did, to play in the second half like we did with the energy, and just finishing it off, a lot of confidence going into this next week.
Played Jason Witten on the 3rd and 20, I think it was. Is that something you guys work on, or just how did it end up going the way?
Yeah, that's just playing football. Me playing a little backyard football, and a guy that's played football for a long time, and able to get out of the pocket. The defender got off of him and came for me, and he just did a great job of keep running, great awareness play, and able to get the first down.
Talk about the interception in the first half or second quarter. And obviously, you had a lot of time. What were you thinking?
Right. Yeah, just bad by me. Great by the offensive line. Went through every read probably 3 times, I guess, and then broke the pocket, and just bad by me. Just terrible. I think I saw both guys went to throw it, just kind of got away from me. I think I was looking at both of my guys at the same time, and just got away from me, and just wasn't a good play. As I said, another thing I can learn from me personally of, hey, just take the back. These guys are doing a great job protecting up front. Don't go out there and feel like I can make every throw. You know what I mean? Check it down and keep the play and keep the drive going. So.
You said yourself at halftime where they said that you certainly came out 8 for 8, scored the first 2 drives, and.
I just had to get back in. I was just being too greedy. One of those heat checks or whatever you want to call it, just trying to do too much in the first half. And I said it to Kellen at the end of the game. I was like, that was on me in the first half. I was just being greedy. And that's why I said it's a good tape to learn from. For me, probably more particularly than anybody else. Just take what the defense gives me. I want these shots. You hit these shots in a couple of games, and you get anxious. You want them again. But just stay within it. Check it down. Those backs will get just as many yards as those deep throws, and just allow the game to come to me. That's what I did in the second half.
You talk about again, you had the touchdown to Cobb called back, and then that next play to Devin Smith, you went deep there. What was the call to him? And just responding down the field that quickly after a play like that.
Yeah, that's credit this offense, this team of water down a duck's back. I mean, just wipe it off, keep going. You score on a big play like that, and it gets called back for the penalty. Not to get too worried about that, just focus on the next play, and we're able to do that, make a little scramble. Devin makes a great catch. Next thing you know, we're just rolling, run play, pass play. Next thing you know, Coop's in the end zone. So it's that's what we preach for this offense is focus one play at a time, allow the game to come to us, and when we do that and we all focus on our job and handle that, this offense is tough.
You told Kellen at halftime that you were being too greedy. What was his response?
I told him that after the game was over for the most part on the bench. I didn't say that then, but I knew I was being too greedy. I fixed that within myself. And as I said, I told him that in the fourth quarter, the game was pretty much over, saying, hey, that's on me. I was greedy. I got you. And as he said, his response was, hey, that's good. I mean, you have those games. You have those times where you get that way, and you've got to set yourself back and realize that, and that's what this was.
Dak Witten said that even more than the 3rd and 20 play, he was proud of the where he pointed out the hot, and it was just a quick pass in the flat to him. What does having a veteran like that, being able to point that stuff out and be on the same page with you, mean to you?
It's huge. It's just great communication. I mean, there was a couple of times on the line of scrimmage tonight. I mean, there was full-blown conversations, not just points, not just little talks here, but full-blown conversations about, hey, this guy, that guy, watch these two guys. And that was a great example of the initial look was kind of a little confusing for the backs, for the guys to the right side. And you know what? Hey, let's go here. And if these two guys come with, then you've got to break hot. And that's all it was. And sure enough, they did. And he broke hot and went and got the first down. And that's derailing to a defense. They draw up something that they are guaranteeing that's going to get home, and it doesn't. So that's just being on the same page, knowing our rules, and stick it to it. And I'm with him. That was one of the better plays of the game.
Can you talk about your process at halftime? Because you've been remarkably efficient in the third quarter. I don't think you've thrown an incompletion in the third quarter yet this season.
What was your question?
So can you talk about the process that you guys go through at halftime to get reset and get ready?
I mean, they're all different. It depends on what's going on, but sometimes individual players have to go take care of themselves, and sometimes I've got to go do this or change clothes because I'm sweating, or you know what I mean. It differs, and it has throughout this season. I don't know if one halftime's been the same, but Kellen comes in, the offense comes in with the adjustments. The coaches, they give them to us. And we just go from there. But at the end of the day, it's a good time for us just to have a break, to reset ourselves and realize as players, as coaches, what we've done well, what we need to get better at, and we'll continue to do that.
As a quarterback, when you have two running backs go over 100 yards, I mean, what's that like for you to see the guys and know that you can rely on both of those guys to have a big game the way they did?
It's great. I mean, as I started off with that, I mean, it's compliments to the whole offense, especially those two guys just running with the passion that they do and the effort that they do, trying to get each and every yard. Our offensive line blocking down the field. It's credit to this offense. When you can do that, when we can throw the ball like that and just open this thing up, as I said, that run just opens up the play action and just allows us to be dangerous from every aspect.
When you said you were feeling greedy, was it because the offensive line was giving you all this time, or was it because you were seeing guys getting open in the secondary? What made you feel that you could make those deep throws so much?
I mean, I kind of always feel that way, but it was a combination. I mean, those guys are protecting. Our guys have made a lot of plays early in the season down the field, and it was just wanting them more than anything. I can't necessarily say it was one particular thing that made me that way. It was a combination of things that I said. I mean, those guys are blocking. I went through my reads 3 or 4 times, and be able to, at that point, you just got to say, hey, check it down or run the ball. I mean, if you're going through it that many times and nobody's open, probably something bad's going to happen, as it did. So just stay within the game.
On that note of running, 19th rushing touchdown in your career, talk us through that play.
Yeah, just a bootleg there, fake the run, come out of there. I've got a couple of pass options. They did a good job of covering those. But when you're playing with that tempo like we're playing with, we're executing plays. It just allows for an easy walk in, and those guys had to cover those receivers and just allowed me to go get in the end zone.
Growing up, the Superdome was the goal. Obviously, talk about your emotions going there next week.
Yeah, it was. Didn't make it there, unfortunately, but get to go there next week. Excited about that. Just going back to Louisiana, going back to the home state. It'll be fun. But my whole focus is on this team. How do we take that next step from week to week and get better and make sure we can come out with a win next week?
Have you ever been to a game there at all?
Yeah.
Saints game or who? Like?
Yeah, I've been Saints game. I was in high school. I was in high school and went to a Saints game once.
Well, Dak, certainly it's early in the season, but how does it feel to be 3-0 with a 2-game lead in the NFC East now?
It's great. I mean, anytime you're 3-0, obviously it's a great feeling. But forget the record. This team can be really, really good, and we've got to focus on that and how do we get there. It's about taking that next step. It's about focusing on the things that we can control. We're all going to come in tomorrow, and I promise you those guys in the locker room, the men that we have, going to come in with the mindset of how we get better, not worrying about our record and the fact that we are 3-0, and just worried about how do we go 1-0 next week.
Taco got credit for a sack on you. Did you have a chance to talk to him after the game?
Say again?
Taco got credit for a sack on you. Did you have a chance to talk to him after the game?
Yeah. I mean, I told Taco, obviously, good luck. Good luck on everything. I didn't tell him congrats on that sack or anything. I mean, that was whatever. I could have thrown it away.
I knew it.
He can have that
I
one.
knew it.
Completion percentage. Thank y'all.
Right there is Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott's 3-0. The Dallas Cowboys are 3-0.
You gotta love
the
that.
The Cowboys
man.
win 31-6. We'll talk about it with the voice of the Dallas Cowboys, Brad Sham, next. Dallas
goodness.
Cowboys football will continue in a moment.
I'm gonna wait for Brad Sham. Somebody, whoever watching it, let me know when they out of commercial break. Minka Fitzpatrick, I believe, caught an interception. I was able to see that. I think he was caught the interception. I think he's wearing number 39. I know it's another team, but that lets you know he's a playmaker. And then he had a forced fumble, interception or forced fumble. That boy's playing out, lights out. Let me see if there's Minka. Yeah, he came to play. He came to play, and they playing against the 2-0 49ers. I'm sorry, 49ers. So a forced fumble and INT. The kid is out there to play. I love what I was able to hear from Dak Prescott, owning up to his mistake and saying, hey, this team, I was greedy, trying to force things, and I had to reel everything in. And that's expectations. A lot of people fail to realize they see other teams blowing out and beating out teams. And that lets you know that he was looking at it like, if they were able to do it, I should be able to do it. But confidence comes in different angles, right? So we see the confidence meter increasing with Dak Prescott. I want to touch on this as well. The fact that he sweats a lot. I would say this. I think that Dak Prescott, he goes out there on the field, he warms up and everything. He might need to do this before the start of the game. Just put on some fresh uniform because he's always a sweaty dude, So I think that the staff need to have another fresh sets of uniforms out there. So after he done warmed up and everything, is to put on some different clothes, because I think that sweat factor caused him at least 3 or 4 fumbles and a couple of interceptions out of his career. And I think that can help him out. I guess he mentioned it during the halftime that he changed out clothes. It's a marathon. Yes, L Train 45, reminding everybody it's a marathon. Yes, John Deal. Yeah. You have a lot to love of this man. Yes, the way, the preparations and all those things. He played well. Remember, I say this again. Jeff Heath is a better free safety than he is playing as strong. And we can see that today. Dak lays it on the line 100% from the start to finish. Yeah. And Taco need to be happy that Dak Prescott gave him a sack. Because I'm wondering, why you didn't throw that ball out of bounds? Yes, defense needs to work. I agree, Carl. But, one day at a time. One day at a time. One day at a time, Cowboy Nation. That hit by Jeff, Devon, and shout out to Hearns for getting back up, but that was a hard hit. Heath lit up Hearns, and we look at the tape, it looked like he kissed him, He kissed him all right. Said, welcome back to Dallas.
Something I've learned this year about football, not all balance is created equal. Cowboys have an offense that is very balanced, 50-50, but this feels a lot different than the balance they've had in recent history.
Yeah, I think Ari Jason Garrett has said that balance isn't necessarily 50-50 run pass. Right. Balance is a goal. But balance means that you are a threat to do either, and you keep the defense off balance.
Yeah.
So it might be 60-40. It's probably not 70-30. If you look at the total yardage for the game, I mean, it's almost split for Dallas.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so that I think they are balanced because they can throw it to a lot of different people, and they can run it with 2 different guys, 3 if you include the quarterback.
Oh, yeah, for
in,
sure.
In a number of different ways.
And I think people kind of have a misjudgment, misguided approach on the new school way of offenses who think that they don't like to run the football. No. You
Right.
still want to run the football. It's at the right times of running the football. This team is scheduling and planning their offense in a much smarter way this year, I think. They're passing first. They're running to run out the clock and melt the game away. This is very Marion Barber-like, what they're able to do here in the second half, don't you think?
Yeah, that's what they've been. That is how they've been built for a very long time, to be able to.
Yeah.
You got a lead and the ball with 4 minutes left. Then the other team never sees the ball, and that was one of the hallmarks of the team of the early '90s that won the championships. Now the difference is the way they have played from time to time over the last decade is, it's a close game. You don't take unnecessary chances. Maybe you have a 4-point lead or a 6-point lead, and then you choke the air out of it for the last 4 minutes.
Right.
This team plans on attacking differently from the outset and to have maybe a 20-point lead and then choke the air out of it. And they have the players who are capable of doing that.
I want to ask you something because you've seen more football than I'll ever see, even though I watch more football than Sean, has been proven. The point is, Dak said
and the guy's not even here to defend
I know.
himself.
It's a running joke.
Yeah.
Dak said something here where he was talking about being too greedy. He told Kellen that he was being a little bit too greedy. The interception.
He told Kellen that Dak was being too greedy, or that he thought that Kellen was being too greedy.
He said at the post-game press conference, basically that was what he said to Kellen Moore.
That Dak was being too greedy.
Yes.
So probably Kellen, my guess would be Kellen's, if they were talking about the interception, my guess would be Kellen would say, okay, what did you see there?
Right. But my thought is that was a very Favre-like play where you make those plays, you take them. You deal with the interception, right, because you're trying to make a play happen. Do you like the new Dak where he's going down? I mean, there was a lot of downfield throws today.
There have been a lot of downfield throws since the beginning of OTAs.
Yeah.
And this is, I guess, one reason I'm not more agog over what they've done is that, I mean, Mickey Spagnola's sitting right here. He's going to be on with you in a minute. Mickey and I sat in the stands at the Star going back to May and watched every OTA practice we were allowed into and every minicamp practice and then every practice at training camp. And this down the field and attacking it, they've been doing this. We're not surprised because this is what they have been trying to become since they put the new offense in. I do like that. I like it a lot, especially when they have these good players. I'm not crazy about indiscriminate throws. There's a great clip that you can find on YouTube of Mike Holmgren and a young Brett Favre who did one of those things and threw another pick, and he comes to the sideline, and Holmgren says, "Are we done? Are we done with the rocket balls now?" he just put in Favre Holmgren rocket balls. It's classic, and I'm not saying that's what Dak does.
Yeah, I get it.
But I think that one of the best things he does is decision making. And that's why I thought from the middle of 17, after that Atlanta game when the protection dissolved on him and he got sacked 47 times in that one afternoon, for the second half of 17 and the first half of 18 until they made the offensive line coaching change, that was a different guy than who played 16 and the first half of 17. And then they changed the line coach, and then they got Cooper. And from the middle of 18, you saw the guy you saw the first year and a half.
Yeah.
That's the guy I think he really is. And so I think the reason he said he got greedy was because he made probably a decision that he would like to have back. And you can do that against Miami in Week 3, but you better not be thinking about doing that in January.
Yeah.
If you want to get to January, if you want to win enough games to do that, you have to be really, really smart. And one of the reasons I think that they're in a good position with him is that he's really, really smart. And I'll tell you, RJ, I become more convinced every day that, and I think we talked about this on the pregame show, but if we didn't do it today, we did it once in the last couple of weeks. I just can't stop thinking about what happened for Aikman when Norv Turner came in. Same physical guy, different pieces around him. They added Emmett in 90. They had the offensive line. Different system, different way to teach, different way to communicate. I cannot stop thinking that this is what we are seeing the beginning of. And the decision-making is a big part of that.
Brad, we'll miss you next week. Shout out Tava. Happy New Year.
Thank you very much. You know, I will absolutely miss being there. I mean, there's no question about that. That it's hard for me to do because I love it so much, but it's not hard because my faith is the centerpiece of my life, and so it's a big day, and that's where I go. So
thank you, Brad.
2 weeks from now against Green Bay, now that
will be fun.
Will be a big day.
It will.
Cowboys win 31-6. They're 3-0 for the first time since 2008. We'll talk with Mickey Spagnola. Plus, we'll hear from Jerry Jones and Tony Pollard all on the way. You're listening to the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
Nobody does spicy chicken like Wendy's.
That ain't bad at all. That ain't bad at all. So we get a chance to listen then to Mickey Spags, and I'm going to have to go from there, but I really appreciate you all. So I'm going to listen to Mickey Spagnola's press conference, and you guys can do the same thing at radio.com. Just go there, type in 105.3 The Fan, and you can, get some of that live post-game reactions from there. From Ari and RJ Choppy. They do a great job, man. It's a real good job. This team is growing, and I like the analogy or the comparison that Brad Sham put out there to the 90s team. Our offense did look stale, and it was stalling off until we got the coach to come and help out Troy Aikman. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing for us to have that type of situation to appear again, something tangible that we can actually see and feel. I think that this team made necessary adjustments during that second half, and we were able to stop being so greedy and went back to Cowboys football. You see. And that's what's good. Shout out to you, Rue. Shout out to you, MNA channel. Thank you for tuning in to the nation. And who else? Somebody made a donation while this interview was going on. Help me get to 100 subs with zero content, please. He said Quinn was a huge need for the Cowboys. Go Cowboys and go Law Nation. I really appreciate it, man. And help him get to 100 subs. You should have 100 subs, man. Let me subscribe to your channel, man. Let me see if I can go to your page, and help you get to 100 subs. If you don't already got them. Cowboy Nation, we're doing good, for where we at right now, 3-0, and I would tell people all the time, he only got 6 subs, so now you got 7, okay? Help me get to 100 subs, and now you got 7. That's a good number to be on, too. 7 is a good number of completions, basically. You all hit that like button, free. Feed Pollard. Yeah, I like Pollard. I didn't know he had 100 yards rushing. Probably could have had more, I like this when you put Pollard in, and when teams already adjusted for Ezekiel, now you got this quick, shifty guy, Pollard, that comes in, and he's not folding up like a lawn chair. He's not going down quickly. He takes the abuse, and he still continue to lower his pad levels and get things going. Salute to you. Yeah. Hard, passionate, working for the Cowboys. Yes. Let's see if they're back on.
It's at halftime.
Right.
You had a turnover.
Kind of like we talked about with New England, though, before the game.
And you, you had a turnover. You had penalties that brought the ball back, and you look up, and it's 10-6. And it's like 10-6. But I think it's a good reminder to everybody, and including the Cowboys, that these things don't come easy.
Right.
You got to work, and you got to grind, and they did that. And I think the fact that you overcome basically your own adversity and come back and beat a team by 25 points, you hold them to less than 300 yards, and in the second half, I don't think they gained 80. And if they did, it was because that last drive they got 37. So they were just shutting them down the entire game. So when you look at it at the end, it's 31-6. You won by 25 points. You're 3-0. You got a 2-game lead in the NFC East. And
Magic number's like 9. Whatever.
Wait, I thought that was the over-under.
I don't know. Yeah, that's right. It was the over-under.
So it's like, it's difficult, and it's difficult to keep winning in this league, to have winning streaks, I've always had this philosophy, the more you lose, the closer you are to winning, and the more you win, the closer you are to losing. Those are the odds in this league. You're not going to win them all, and chances are you're not going to lose them all. And, Miami's going to beat somebody, I bet. I mean, that team played hard. You got to give them credit. They're just not good enough.
No,
right?
yeah, there's a talent deficiency there. But I don't know, I don't know if you saw the same thing, but, I saw first half. This was and maybe I'm just reading too much into it, or I'm trying to find an out for Dak, but I was thinking to myself, he's never seen a Belichick-type defense, and that's what Brian Flores runs.
Right.
And maybe that confused him a little bit early on. Maybe they did some things that he hadn't seen yet. And that's why it was a little bit of a struggle early. Then the offense started to roll downhill in the second half. I don't know.
Yeah, but think about this. The first drive, they drive right down.
Right down.
You got to score, right? And they did have big plays, right? And you're what, 1st and 10 at the 11, and you end up with a field goal. They got to be better than that. That was the first time. I think that was only the second time in 3 games they've been in the red zone and didn't score a touchdown.
It is.
So, you do that. And then the next time you get the ball, you drive 54 yards and you score a touchdown. So it was getting easy, right? And I think he was right. He got greedy. It wasn't like it was a fancy defense. Now, he pointed out that he had so much time in the pocket on that play. He said, I went through my 3 progressions 3 times before I decided to wing it downfield, and it was just a bad decision. It had nothing to do with the defense. When you throw the ball off of 1 foot and you're throwing it 30 or 40 yards downfield, there's a chance, across your body, somebody's going to be there. He had another bad decision. I wrote down bad decision when he tried to fling one downfield. So sometimes when that stuff works, you get lulled into this false sense of security that, every time I wing it downfield, my guys are coming down with it. Well, when they're flooding the zone back there with so many guys, you just got to do the smart thing. It was like, I don't know if Brad, if you heard it when somebody said, did you say anything to Taco when he got the sack? And he goes, I was running and I could have thrown it out of bounds. And he goes, and I just didn't. And somebody goes, well, why didn't you throw it out of bounds? He said, completion percentage. It's like a great answer, right? That was the end of the press conference, right? It was like, we don't need anything anymore after that. Because I think the second half he was 10 of 12 after 6 of 20. But if you look at the whole thing, it takes work to win these games, and they did it, and they did it a little differently. You get 2 guys rushing for 100 yards, first time since '98. I'm sure that's 12 years ago, 12 seasons ago. People didn't even know Chris Warren was on this team. He was the second guy that did it.
In '98?
In '98.
Yeah, that was 22 seasons ago.
22. What did I say, 12? Yeah. I'm getting old, right?
Yeah, that was 20 years ago.
22 years ago. And Emmett, 98, he's still rushing for 100 yards, That
was in my
So the fact that you saw this from Pollard, teams are going to have to say, well, no, wait a minute. If they're giving Zeke a rest, this kid, he was pushing the pile up the middle. Those were hard 3-yard runs, 2-yard runs, but he was doing it, and then you pop him outside, and they finally showed both guys in the backfield at the same time. So the versatility that they've showed over 3 games, I think, is remarkable.
'98, I was starting my second freshman year of college.
Second freshman year.
Mickey, appreciate your time as always.
Okay, sure. Have a good day, guys.
Mickey Spagnola, DallasCowboys.com. Academy Sports and Outdoors, a store with top brands like Adidas, Shimano, Rawlings, and Columbia, all at guaranteed low prices like you've never seen. Visit us in-store or at academy.com. We'll hear from Jerry Jones, hear what he had to say, plus.
Man, I was watching them highlights. Y'all saw me over there. I was watching the highlights of the Chiefs and the Ravens game. The Chiefs and Ravens game highlight. That's a good game. That was a good game. I was watching it, man. And that Action Jackson, boy. And my home kids, they're looking good. Saints defense look for real, too. They're no one to sneeze at as well. So it's looking good out there, man, as far as these NFL team, and they're very opportunistic defense. So, I mean, Saints got some defense. It's like they can rally behind their defense and get things back for their quarterback to see what he can do. And Minka Fitzpatrick, he's looking good out there as well. So, I mean, all of those guys, man, as far as what he was able to do. And it's just like his first week out there playing for the Steelers. So, I mean, everything looks good so far. Our Cowboys still looking good, Cowboy Nation, though. We are still looking good, and I was able to see Daniel Jones push the ball down the field, but it's still more of the same with the not the Eagles, but the Giants. It looks like still more of the same. Really appreciate you all. Chiefs going to upset the Patriots this year. Watch. We'll see. Bridgewater 5 for 7 for 29 yards. My thing is, I wish we were playing Bridgewater this week because his third week, he may be a little bit better, maybe a little bit better. Jay Adams had a 60-yard pick six. Wow, I got to go back and watch that. Yeah, Cowboy Nation. All right, so it's Sunday. I got to get back to the family. I'm glad that they gave me this longitude and latitude to be able to be with you all. Don't forget to hit that like button, share this content, let a friend, neighbor, foe know where to go when they want to tune in to Cowboy Sports Talk and beyond. I really appreciate you all for growing this channel. Thank you guys for subscribing and helping me get to my ultimate goal of just doing multiple things with this channel. And I really appreciate you all's love and adulation that goes this way. And thank all of you all that supported this channel. I really appreciate it. Like you said, can't sleep on the Saints. Yeah. And I think Saquon Barkley is limping off. Man, I hope the kid have a speedy recovery. And I want to say this too, before I get out of here. Quietly, this guy's having a good game. Well, a good season. And it's Jacoby Brissett, that's how you say his name, I believe. He's quietly having a good year, not a lot of noise going his way because everybody's focused on other quarterbacks. But he's quietly doing his thing out there. Let's go. Let's get some outro music in here. Let's go. Yeah, it's wartime, baby. Remember, it's all about putting one day at a time. One shoe on at a time, brick by brick. Shout out to the Eagles. They lost. Shout out to them. Shout out to you all, man. Let's go. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your Victory Monday. It's a good feeling. It is. It's a good feeling. This is total pandemonium, right? Always a lady. Oh, man. Let me just give a shout out to everybody that's in here. Always a lady. Shout out to you, John, Raw, John again, Rue, Clock, yes. D. Bond, appreciate you. Young Wilson, give me those fire emoji, Cowboy Nation. Rosario, appreciate you. Cry, Eagles, cry. Yes, let's go, Cowboy Nation. Let's go. Chappelle, yes. Hannah, Cowboy Humper. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Who else? Who else we got? Fire emojis, yes. Nick, yes. 36, what's good? Yes, let's go, Cowboy Nation. Let's continue to grind, baby. Victory. San Diego in the house. Yeah. Let them know. Trev, let them know. Yeah. This feel good, 3-0, let's go. Yes, Tyler, Texas, yes. On our way to the Super Bowl. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, if you can fight, continue to fight, Cowboy Nation, with all of your might. Keep your head high, even when somebody is trying to swing. Keep ducking.
Never give up. Keep your eyes focused on the prize, Cowboy Nation. When you're up against your struggle, meet it squarely face to face. Lift your chin, set your shoulders, let your feet and take a brace. And when you fall, try to land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. That's been my time. Yeah, that's been my time. I really thank you all for yours.
And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Watch this right here.